Greetings and welcome to the QCOM MS3 vlog series. This is the OB/GYN rotation. My name is Matthew Holt and I'm excited to be sharing in this with you. This is going to be kind of like an intro video as well as recap my very first week in surgery of the OB rotation. So basically, to kind of give you a broad overview of this week, Monday we had off because it was Labor Day. Thank God for Labor Day. Needed that little break coming off of my rural primary care track rotation, and so it was nice to have Monday off to kind of get ready and prepared for the OB/GYN rotation. So Tuesday morning we had to be there bright and early, 7 a.m. You know, I don't think I've had to be anywhere at 7 a.m. in third year so far, so I just got lucky, right? I had psychiatry first, then rural primary care track, but now I'm gonna have to start waking up early. So we did our orientation day. It was a full day worth of things, like all kinds of things. OB/GYN is like a whole new world. There are so many nuances, so many different things that I had no clue about. I have had zero exposure to women's medicine, zero exposure to babies, zero exposure to a whole lot of the stuff that OB/GYN is all about. And so even in the first 2 years of the kind of the basic science stuff, I didn't get a whole lot. The physiology is like completely different when you've got a woman with a baby inside of her, and it's so amazing, honestly. So this first week has been great. I kind of like surgery a lot, so it was kind of cool to get to start the week off with that. The only thing was everyone's first week on the rotation for my class is a little bit abbreviated, especially since we had Labor Day. The rotation is normally 6 weeks, but for my class it's 5. So that's already taken one of the weeks off, right? And so the whole last week of the clerkship is dedicated to academic work. So we have an OSCE, we have kind of like a practical workshop style thing where we go through station by station. We prove that we can do suture techniques and knot tying. We'll have to write an order. We'll have to write a prescription, different things like that. That's at the end of the clerkship, and that's the last week, as well as taking the shelf at the end. And then they also have like a departmental exam to get you prepared for the shelf. And so that's the last week. So what are the other 4 weeks? Just to kind of give you an overview. So we get 1 week in surgery, which is what I did this past week. We get 1 week in outpatient, and there's various different clinics that happen in outpatient that we get exposure to. Kind of like there's an ultrasound clinic, there's a high-risk clinic with diabetic patients, there's a gynecologic clinic. There's all these different clinics that have specific focuses within the heading of OB/GYN. So then we get a week in inpatient and a week in night shift. Night flow, 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. So it's basically in the labor and delivery unit. That's where we have day shift labor and delivery, and we have night shift labor and delivery, and so that's 2 of our weeks. So surgery, outpatient, inpatient, night flow, academic week. That's the 5 weeks. This week was great. So Tuesday we did our whole kind of get oriented. We got a whole packet. We had Dr. Jernigan come and speak, and he's really kind of, this is going to be the hardest clerkship you will go through. It's going to be long hours. It's going to be a lot of work. It was kind of a cool orientation because everybody was like, what? You know, like, what are we going to do? Oh, my gosh. But it's been great. And so and that was a cool way to kick things off. You know, we have all the resources we need. There's actually a huge Q bank called UYs that we are required to use if we want to do good on the quizzes. There's a quiz every Wednesday with 25 questions, and there's 4 of those quizzes, and you get to count 3 of them. And so the questions are verbatim directly from the UY's Q banks. The only problem is there's about 13 topics with 10 questions each before each quiz, and we didn't get them emailed out to us until like the Monday before they're due, which the quiz is on Wednesday, right? So that means I've got 2 evenings to do 130 questions. So 13 modules, 10 questions each, about 130 questions. 25 of those questions are going to be on the quiz. And then I looked at the topics and kind of counted up how many topics there were. And there's going to be over 550 questions so there's over 50 something topics. And so by the end of this clerkship, I will have done at least 500 something questions from UWise. And then I looked on UWorld, which is the huge Q bank for studying for USMLE STEP exams. And there's over 200 questions on that. So this clerkship's going to be doing a lot of questions, and you need to, because there's all these different things like fetal heart rate monitoring, labor and delivery. There's all the different types of cancer that you can get. There's just so many different aspects to this field, and it's amazing, and I'm really excited to get started. So this video has gone a little longer than I expected, but I want to share with you one last thing, and that's pretty much what I did in surgery. So I only had 2 days in surgery, right? Because Tuesday was orientation. Wednesday, technically I was in surgery, but it was only half a day because I had to come back for my GTA exam, and that's basically you get a standardized patient, like a real person, and you're expected to perform a breast exam and a pelvic exam under the chaperone of a physician who helps you out and kind of gives you pointers and like tells you, here's what you did well, here's what you didn't do well, and it's from the safety of having a standardized patient. So the first time you actually do the speculum exam and the breast exam on a real patient won't actually be the first time you've ever done it. So get to awkwardly fumble through it in a controlled environment first, because there's a lot of things like that in this clerkship, especially if you've never been exposed to patients or this realm of medicine, i.e. I'm a perfect example of that. So that went well. It was good, but I had to do the surgery rotation. I only got 2 days because Fridays are off, so that gave me Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, I went to Holston Valley. Had to wake up at 4:45 a.m. So I could drive down there, get there around 5:30, 5:45, and be ready at 6 at the physician lounge. I was working with Dr. Kramer, who is an obstetric oncologist or a gynecologic oncologist. So he works with patients who have possibility of cancer in their uterus or ovaries. So we got to basically do hysterectomies all morning, and I was with a chief resident as well. That was cool. I got to scrub in on all the procedures. I actually got to suture the incisions closed. They were so the 3 procedures I saw were, all 3 of them were laparoscopic hysterectomy, so removal of the ovaries and the uterus laparoscopically. So there's 1 incision through the belly button for the camera, and then 2 incisions below the waistline for the tools, the laparoscopic tools, and basically go in and take out the uterus. And it was pretty cool. And then at the end, I get to come over and suture up the little tiny incisions, which that was kind of fun. I'm glad I got to do that. And so that was awesome. I really loved it, enjoyed it. But then the next day was a dud. There was only 1 surgery on the list for that day, and the patient did not want students to participate. So we basically showed up for lunch, and one of the great residents gave us a few lectures on contraception, which actually turned out to be very useful on practice questions I was doing and in clinic when patients had questions about contraception. And so that was kind of cool. But that was an abbreviated day. And then I had Friday for a study day. So, yeah, 2 days in surgery. I would have liked to have had more, but that's okay because that means I'll have a full week in labor and delivery day shift, and a full week in outpatient, and a full week in night shift. So it's going to be good. I guess ideally night shift would have been the week that you wanted to start with when you had the Monday off and the Tuesday for orientation. It's only 3 days of night shift, 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's going to be crazy. Anyways, I've taken way too much of your time. Thank you for hanging with me. Hopefully this sets the tone for this whole series. There's going to be 5 videos in it. And I'm just really excited to be getting started with this, putting in the work, doing questions again, really feeling like a med student. And I've had the MPH classes going full swing now too. So I'm in 2 MPH classes and having to do the assignments for those in the evenings. Still heartily involved in my church and with my friends, and that's really important to me. So we're making it happen. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for being with me this evening, and we'll see you next time.